In the mid-90s, Michael Johnson and Donovan Bailey were the stars of track and field. American Michael Johnson dominated the 200 and the 400, while Canadian Donovan
Bailey. So these before Usain Bolt, man. I'm trying to learn more about the, Olympians, in the sprinting world. So David Bailey, Canada, Michael Johnson,
Bailey was
USA.
king of the 100. They both broke world records, collected gold medals, and were known as the world's fastest man.
What?
The world's fastest man. Singular.
I'm about to say.
So, that couldn't last. But it could create a petty nationalistic rivalry that spilled into the press and gave birth to something rarely seen in track and field, a $1 million race to determine who really was the world's fastest man.
So they just raced each other for $1 million?
Come on. That's a lot.
Or was that on competition?
This isn't the NBA.
He said this isn't the NBA.
Let's begin our story at the 1995 World Championships in Sweden. Johnson took home gold in the 200 meters, 400 meters, and 4x400 relay. Bailey also had a successful trip to Sweden, taking home gold in the 100 and 4x1.
Okay.
Things seemed to be going great for each individual, individually. No reason to be upset with each other or with anything, really. Johnson was heralded as the next Jesse Owens, which had to feel good, being compared to an American legend and your personal...
Jesse Owens is my hero. Jesse Owens is he's one of them. Let me know in the comments if you watch Jesse Owens. Jesse Owens. You can have a Carl Michael Johnson list.
Hero.
Damn.
Bailey, however, didn't get to enjoy such a flattering comparison. Bailey was indirectly compared to the last most famous Canadian sprinter, Ben Johnson, who brought glory and gold to Canada, but then had to return both when he got caught doping. In fact, the Donovan Bailey-Ben...
Never he got caught doping? Dang.
Johnson comparison was so prevalent, in the 3 weeks leading up to the 95 World Championships, Donovan was drug tested 6 times. Officials didn't say it was because of Ben Johnson, but it was so obvious they didn't really have to. But Bailey wasn't doping, and his career was blossoming just in time for the 96 Olympics in Atlanta. Months before the torch was lit, Bailey broke the indoor 50-meter world record. Not bad for a guy who was a full-time stockbroker just 3 years ago. And what was Michael Johnson doing in the months before the 96 Olympics? Oh, just announcing his plans to win gold in both the 200 and 400, asking the Olympic Committee to reschedule some events to give him more rest time between the 200 and 400 preliminary heats, and then being granted that request. Not only did he get the Olympics rescheduled, he got a letter from the president of the World Track Federation telling him not to worry about the schedule, and later told him, basically straight up, that America was his favorite country and Johnson was his favorite athlete. He called Johnson an Olympic hero before the Olympics. Now, I'd have to imagine this bothered the Canadian Bailey and also all athletes from all other countries.
Michael Johnson had that aura. What are you talking about?
Johnson was getting all this positive attention, and Bailey was getting told he couldn't get into a club for free because a bouncer didn't recognize him. And that happened in front of his friends. But hey, Johnson couldn't get into stuff too. He was banned from the 96 London Grand Prix meet for being too good.
What?
So track stardom was a different experience for Michael Johnson than it was for Donovan Bailey.
I'm about to say, what the fuck is going on, bruh? So is any of these sprinters on Usain level?
But there wasn't any open hostility between these two. Yet. At the 96 Atlanta Olympics, because they ran different events, their paths never crossed. Or were never directly side by side. You get what I'm going for. Donovan Bailey and the Canadian relay team won gold in the 4x1, and in the 100-meter dash, Donovan Bailey had what I'm assuming was the best day of his life. Move over, birth of his daughter. Bailey impressed even himself with his superhuman feat, not just winning gold, but setting a world record at 9.84 seconds.
9.84?
And
what Usain ran? 9.6 some shit?
In totally separate events, Michael Johnson had some fun too. He wore golden shoes, which you'd think would jinx him, but instead they just seemed to be the only appropriate shoes for him to wear. Johnson won gold in the 400, setting an Olympic record with a time of 43.49 seconds. Then, in the 200, he made history in a couple of categories. Clocking in at 19.32, Michael Johnson exploded the previous 200 record of 19.72, which had stood for 17 years.
Dang.
Oh, right, and...
Smash! I'm talking about... wrecked it. Bro, hold on. Why did Michael Johnson run the 100? And why didn't Donovan Bailey run the 4?
That earned him a
Was
gold
they
medal.
running from each other?
Which means he accomplished something that no man but two women had ever accomplished before. He became the first man to win gold in both the 400 meters and the 200 meters at the Olympics.
That's hard.
Now, at this point, you might be wondering how two guys who never raced each other ended up with beef.
I could have sworn she was AI, whoever was talking. That's a real woman.
This guy.
I thought it was
Bob
AI.
Costas covered Michael Johnson's historic 200-meter run, and the fact that he doesn't normally analyze track and field results did not slow him down. Despite the unofficial title of fastest man in the world traditionally going to the 100-meter record holder, Costas challenged that notion, saying Johnson was actually faster than Bailey. What he did was he divided Johnson's 200 time in half, getting 9.66 seconds per 100, which is better than Bailey's world record time of 9.84 seconds. But, that's not how it works. Because, see, Johnson's gonna have a running start for that second 100 meters? Bailey responded saying, in the nicest possible way, Bob Costas is an idiot. But then, someone who did know something about track spoke up.
Man.
Atto Bolden, the bronze medalist in both the 100 and 200, said Johnson was the world's fastest man, not Donovan Bailey. I doubt very much they were friends. Bailey played it cool, but it seemed like the threat to his throne was becoming real. The press ran with it. Michael's coach claimed that though he was no math nerd, Michael Johnson was the fastest man in the world.
Damn.
And with that, beef was born.
Yo.
Shortly after the Olympics, Bailey and Johnson actually ran together at the Berlin Grand Prix. They were both part of a 4x1 relay team dubbed the Dream Team, created to honor the anniversary of Jesse Owens really sticking it to the Nazis back in 1936. It was more ceremonial than competitive, but as anyone who's ever worked on a group project knows, being teammates doesn't mean you get along. At the press conference announcing the members of the non-basketball Dream Team, our guys confronted each other and kind of just shouted their stats back and forth.
What?
Bailey said there was no one who could beat him in the 100. Johnson said, oh yeah, well there's no one who can run 24 miles an hour like me. Bailey said he reached 28.7 miles per hour, which is like 24, only better. Bailey was pissed, and he went on to say this whole debate was rooted in classic down-home American jealousy. And you know who agreed with him? The Canadian people. So they entered the debate. Canadian auto body worker Mike Lescue dipped into his vacation savings and took out an ad in the Dallas, Texas USA Today with a nod to Bailey's hometown of Oakville, Ontario, and a direct shot at Johnson. It read, "Come visit the hometown of the world's fastest man, Oakville, Ontario. Sorry, Michael J." Why did Mike Lescue choose the USA Today specifically in Dallas, Texas? Because that's where Michael Johnson lived.
Damn.
Now, that's just one guy, and I said the Canadian people were involved. Well, you see, the anti-Johnson ads cost about $35,000, which is more than Lescue had in his vacation fund, but he could cover it because Canadian citizens were sending in donations to keep those ads running, with Bailey's hometown newspaper publisher footing most of the bill.
That's insane.
What a country. And what do you know? That wasn't the only way publications played a role in this track beef. The Associated Press gave Michael Johnson
Associated Press Athlete of the Year based on a 3-2-point system. First place votes. Athlete of the Year went to Michael Johnson, Tiger Woods, Evander Holyfield, Michael Jordan.
the 96 Male Athlete of the Year award, which doesn't seem like something Bailey should get too bent out of shape about. But the thing is, this award is voted on by the press, and Donovan Bailey got 0 votes. To put that into context, Ric Flair got 2 votes, and this horse got 7 votes. Bailey responded by calling Americans ignorant, and Johnson, a true patriot, bristled at that. He took to the press to point out that Bailey had an American coach and trains in America, so who's ignorant now? Johnson was also sure to mention that he's better than Bailey. Sports Illustrated joined the fight with a whole article making fun of Bailey for, 1, not getting any votes, and 2, whining about it. Oh, and they were sure to mention that Johnson was better than Bailey. Everyone had their opinion.
I love this beef.
If only there was some concrete way to find out who could run faster.
I love this beef.
Donovan Bailey and Michael Johnson were going to race to determine who really was the fastest man in the world.
Oh, yeah.
The race was going to be 150 meters because that's more than 100 and less than 200. and a specialty track was to be built that was 75 meters curved, 75 meters straight. Math. Ahead of the race, Johnson took to the press to point out Bailey was getting his, and I quote, ass kicked in a bunch of post-Olympic meets by Dennis Mitchell, which is a pretty good burn when you remember Dennis Mitchell's the guy who ran while wearing an eyebrow ring. Bailey countered, saying Michael Johnson didn't even belong in a race for the world's fastest man because he's not fast enough? Weird angle, but an angle, sure. In promos for the race, Johnson flexed his confidence.
If I go in there and win, which I fully expect to, I consider myself still the fastest man in the world.
And Bailey insisted this race wasn't really going to determine the fastest man in the world because that's reserved for the 100-meter champ.
Well, you know, Michael, if you want to be the fastest man in the world, run the 100 meters. Figure it out.
Not to be outdone, Michael Johnson claimed he didn't even need the title because he's accomplished so much. But there was even more at stake than just the title. Right, I mean money. Both guys would get $500,000 just for showing up, and the winner would get an additional $1 million. Considering they'll be running for less than 15 seconds, that's not a bad rate.
I swear to God.
But despite the cash, both guys threatened to back out. 2 days before the race, Bailey saw the specially built track and claimed the radius of the turn was tighter than what he had been told and what he had been practicing on. He insisted they change the track. Johnson wasn't on board with that and threatened to quit. The track wasn't changed.
Come on, Bailey? You running from that smoke? He running from the smoke. The track, man,
probably
run.
Because it was already built, so everyone expected Bailey to back out. Instead, the morning of the race, he issued a press release saying the track design was an egregious miscarriage of the competitive spirit and that he'd be racing under mental duress. While you gotta admire his word choice, you also have to admit those aren't the words of someone who expects to win. Just a few hours later, the two took to the starting.
Hold on, does this nigga just put out a losing quote before the race? Yeah, I'ma lose, but this is why.
Stop the cap.
Line, and the talk was over. It was time for action.
They really raced for a meal.
They both
really
got
raced for a
solid
meal.
starts out of the blocks. Bailey ahead.
Hum.
And then Johnson pulls up.
USA.
He's hurt. He's out. It's over. As he crosses the finish line, Bailey looks back, confused. He's a winner, but it's not a satisfying win. Not to worry. The beef is super satisfying. Because Bailey added insult to injury, literally.
He got hurt.
Disappointed he pulled up, that he didn't finish. He didn't pull up, he's a chicken.
He accused Johnson of faking the injury, and the press took it seriously.
Damn.
How, Sway?
He faked the injury game?
Fuck no. And I'ma stand on that.
Okay.
Oh, no,
Asking Johnson about it during
Did he
the
fake
post-race
it?
press conference.
Were you genuinely injured or did you throw the race?
Next question.
Johnson took the high road in his response.
That shows a lot about what kind of person he is. I'm gonna show you the kind of person I am. I'm not gonna address that.
But he doesn't deny it. So was he faking?
Fuck no. And I'ma stand on that.
Okay.
I'm USA, man. I'm USA. He ain't say he ain't.
Let's go to the tape. Okay, Bailey is definitely in the lead before Johnson shows any sign of muscle duress. Then Johnson grabs his left quad, and then a few steps later, he pulls up. Okay, to support Bailey's position, even before the injury, Johnson does not look like he's gonna win. He doesn't grab his leg until Bailey's about a meter in front of him, and in a short sprint, a meter is a lot to make up. But to support Johnson's side of things, he looks hurt. He limps off the track with help. He can barely sit down. If he's faking, he's a really good actor. And yes, he did have a bit of a TV career after retirement, but he was playing himself. Plus, if Johnson was faking, he was really, really committed because he missed most of the '97 season with this injury.
Okay, stop playing with me.
Fuck
Stop playing with me, man.
And I'ma
stand on that.
And
My
nigga,
man
get in
was
my
hurt.
DM, you can get in my DM all you want every day.
My man was hurt, man. Y'all better stop playing with my man.
Whether or not you believe Johnson was really injured, Donovan
The world
Bailey
may
won the
never know.
race. He took the title of World's
He got it.
Fastest Man and the $1 million. While we may never know if Bailey could beat a healthy Johnson, Johnson seemed resigned to the results.
Everyone is always entitled to their opinion, and I can't do anything about that.
No rematch was scheduled. The beef was basically over until
Damn.
2 years later, Maurice Green was the fastest man in the world as he beat Bailey's 100-meter record with a time of 9.79. And most interesting to our story, Green ran not just the 100, but also the 200. He was slated to race Michael Johnson in the 200 at the Sydney Olympic Trials. Johnson wasn't getting a Bailey rematch, but he was getting to once again run against the 100 world record holder, aka the world's fastest man. The last time these two were supposed to race, Johnson dropped out with an injury, and Green called him a faker. Whether it's true or not,
damn, Johnson, you just be
being
hold
accused
on,
of
bro.
faking
Nah,
it-
bro, fuck that. I'm trying to USA, but bruh.
Stop the cap.
Nah, bro. You pulling up too much, my bro. Why you take?
bullshit,
Come on, man.
bro.
What you doing? Nigga, you supposed to have a heart of a lion. Man, you supposed to go in there with your heart and your head up. Race. Is he ducking? Let me know in the comments. I think he was ducking for real, man. Let me know in the comments. Y'all really think he was
an
ducking?
injury twice
Ducky.
by two different guys, well, it starts to undermine your reputation.
Yeah.
It makes
Even
people
if it's not true, even if you wasn't hurt, even if you weren't trying to duck, bro, you look like you trying to duck, bro.
wonder. So Johnson wasn't about to drop out of his next race with Green for any reason, even though he was concerned about his quad. This race ended
what's
up
wrong
being
with his
even more
quad?
anticlimactic. Johnson pulled up, and so did Green.
Okay, but then Johnson's gone. Oh, Johnson's gone, and so has Maurice Green. The two principals
Damn.
have gone.
But hey, nobody accused Johnson of faking this time.
Hold on, so what the fuck? Were they just training too hard? Niggas trying to win so hard, they training so hard, they hurting themselves before the race, man. See me, I gotta stop.
Small solace for Johnson, who risked his health going into the Sydney Olympics just to avoid being accused of faking an injury. Shortly after the trials, he announced he was done with the 200. For good. And it's Green's fault. And it's a little bit this guy's fault, too. I mean, he invented calling Johnson a faker.
Yeah.
The title of World's Fastest Man is unofficial.
Who's
And
the
in a
fastest,
sport
bro?
that has such definitive marks of greatness, like gold medals and world records, you might think an unofficial title couldn't spur much beef. But it was more than the title of World's Fastest Man that these two wanted. Donovan was beefing for respect. He was beefing for his country. Tired of being overshadowed and infuriated when
you
winning
ain't
didn't
fast
seem to
enough,
shine
Michael
light
Johnson.
on him.
Nobody said.
Michael was beefing because someone challenged the idea that he deserved the special treatment he got. He was at his peak. If people wanted to put him on a pedestal, why should he step down without a fight?
You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, somebody want to put me up there on that grand, like, want to treat me as the king. Why not? Let them treat me as the king. You mad at me because they treat me as the king.
Time seems to have taken care of what a head-to-head race could not. The beef between Donovan Bailey and Michael Johnson is basically over now. Yes, on the 20th anniversary of the showdown, Donovan tweeted a bit aggressively, but Johnson didn't even reply. And in recent interviews, Bailey says he has no hard feelings. Johnson doesn't even do interviews about it, although he does allude to the more flattering parts of the beef in his ad for the Nike running app. I wonder if Donovan Bailey knows about this ad.
Nah, that's wild. Nah, that's wild. That's crazy. I ain't know about this beef. I ain't know it was that. Hey, that's crazy. Let me know in the comments whose side y'all was on though, because I know y'all was picking sides. Canadian versus USA. I know y'all was picking sides. I'm always gonna root for USA. But David Bailey, he really was sympathy though. I ain't gonna lie. Michael Johnson, bro, you don't know what's up with you, bro. I mean, he raced. He wasn't trying to duck. He got hurt. So I'm thinking the other injuries weren't fake. So I don't know. Y'all let me know in the comments what y'all think. Like, comment, subscribe. Y'all want to see more Olympians, more sprinters, swimmers, divers. We get to this Olympian. You know what I'm saying? Olympians coming up in 2028. So let me know in the comments what y'all want me to watch next. And I got y'all. No cap.